Deep in the rugged mountains of western China, hidden within the remote and wind-swept landscape of Qinghai Province, lies a discovery so baffling it defies all conventional explanations. Scattered across a desolate plateau are hundreds of strange, hollow metal pipes embedded in the earth, some reaching deep into the ground, others stretching toward the sky like ancient conduits to another world. These are the Baigong Pipes, an archaeological enigma that has puzzled scientists, historians, and adventurers for decades. Who crafted these mysterious structures? How did they end up in one of the most inhospitable places on Earth? And perhaps most intriguing of all, could they be evidence of a long-lost civilization, or even something far more otherworldly? Imagine standing at the foot of Mount Baigong, where the air is thin and the silence is broken only by the whispering wind. Beneath your feet, buried in the rocky soil, are layers of rust-colored pipes arranged in precise patterns, some as small as a toothpick, others as wide as a tree trunk. The locals have known about them for generations, weaving tales of gods and celestial visitors into their folklore. But when scientists first examined these bizarre artifacts, they were met with an even greater shock. The pipes aren't just weathered relics, they're made of materials that don't match any known ancient technology. Some contain elements that suggest an advanced understanding of metallurgy, far beyond what should have existed in this region thousands of years ago. This isn't just another unsolved mystery, it's a riddle that challenges our understanding of human history itself. The Baigong Pipes don't fit neatly into any archaeological timeline. No records, no legends, no traces of the people who might have built them, yet here they stand, silent and enduring, as if daring us to uncover their secrets. Could they be remnants of a forgotten advanced society? Or are they proof of something even more extraordinary, something beyond our current comprehension? Join us as we venture into the heart of this ancient puzzle, exploring the theories, the science, and the spine-tingling possibilities behind one of history's most perplexing artifacts. The answers may not be simple, but the journey to find them will be unforgettable. In 1996, a group of hikers trekking through the harsh wilderness of western China stumbled upon something that would soon captivate the world. Nestled in the shadow of Mount Baigong, an area so remote it was barely touched by modern infrastructure, they discovered clusters of strange metal pipes jutting from the earth like skeletal fingers reaching through time. The landscape itself seemed to reject human presence, barren, wind-scoured, and dotted with jagged rock formations. Yet here, amid this desolate beauty, lay evidence of something inexplicable. The hikers initially mistook the pipes for natural formations, perhaps twisted remnants of ancient volcanic activity. But as they examined them more closely, the precision of their shapes became impossible to ignore. Some pipes ran vertically into the ground, disappearing into the depths of the mountain. Others snaked horizontally, forming intricate networks that hinted at deliberate design. Even more baffling was their material: smooth, rusted metal, unlike anything naturally occurring in the region. News of the find spread slowly at first, dismissed by many as a geological oddity. But when researchers finally arrived to investigate, they realized they were dealing with something far more significant. The sheer remoteness of the site only deepened the mystery. Mount Baigong sits in a near-uninhabitable stretch of Qinghai Province, where temperatures swing violently between scorching days and freezing nights. There are no records of settlements here, no traces of ancient industry that could explain the pipe's existence. Yet someone or something placed them here with purpose. Early tests revealed compositions that included iron, silicon, and calcium materials that shouldn't have been manipulated with such sophistication in this region thousands of years ago. Local herders had long whispered about the pipes, weaving them into legends of celestial beings who descended from the sky. Some spoke of a time when the gods built roads in the earth, leaving behind these metallic veins as proof of their passage. To researchers, though, the lack of any known civilization capable of such craftsmanship in the area presented a glaring question. If not humans, then who? Or what, as sunlight filtered through the mountain peaks, casting long shadows over the rusted relics, one thing became clear: this was no accident of nature. The Baigong Pipes were placed here deliberately, their true purpose locked in the silence of centuries. And with each passing year, as erosion slowly reclaims them, the window to uncovering their secrets grows narrower. What were they really meant to do? A ventilation system for some long-lost underground complex, the remnants of an ancient energy grid, or something even more extraordinary? The answers, much like the pipes themselves, remain buried, waiting. The Baigong Pipes present a sight unlike anything else found in nature. Stretching across the rocky terrain like veins of some long-dead metallic organism, their forms range from slender threads barely thicker than a needle to massive hollow columns nearly 40 centimeters wide. Their rust-colored surfaces tell a story of unimaginable age, pitted and weathered by centuries of relentless wind and sand. Yet despite their worn appearance, the precision of their construction remains uncanny, perfectly cylindrical with remarkably uniform thickness, a testament to whoever shaped them. Some protrude vertically from the ground like ancient flagpoles, while others run horizontally in unnervingly straight lines, vanishing into the sides of Mount Baigong itself. A few cluster together in geometric formations, their ends flaring slightly as if designed to interlock with something long vanished. The most unsettling detail is how seamlessly they merge with the surrounding rock, as though the mountain itself grew around them over millennia. Geologists who examined the site noted that the pipes weren't simply inserted into pre-existing cracks. They appear fused with the stone, suggesting they were present before the rock solidified around them. Up close, the metal has a strange, almost organic texture, its surface layered with scaly oxidation that flakes away like dead skin. In places where erosion has exposed cross-sections, the interior reveals intricate hollow channels, some branching unexpectedly like the tributaries of an underground river. The composition baffled researchers from the start. Iron dominates, but spectral analysis detected traces of silicon dioxide and calcium oxide, materials commonly used in modern industrial ceramics and heat-resistant alloys. Even more perplexing is the presence of rare earth elements in minute quantities, metals that require sophisticated extraction methods unknown to ancient civilizations. The arrangement defies simple explanation. In one area near a dry riverbed, dozens of smaller pipes radiate outward from a central hub like spokes on a wheel. Elsewhere, thicker conduits plunge straight downward at perfect right angles, disappearing into darkness where ground-penetrating radar loses their signal. One particular formation near the mountain's base resembles a crude staircase with pipes of decreasing size stacked in precise increments, an unsettling suggestion of intentional design. There's an eerie harmony to their placement, as if following some grand blueprint now lost to time. Locals avoid touching them not just from superstition, but because the metal behaves strangely. During summer mornings, dew collects unevenly along certain sections, forming unnatural bead-like patterns. In winter, frost clings to some pipes while leaving adjacent rock untouched, hinting at subtle differences in thermal conductivity. Most bizarre of all are the sporadic reports of faint vibrations detectable through the larger columns during seismic activity, as if the entire network responds to shifts in the Earth itself. These aren't random artifacts scattered by chance. They form a system, one whose purpose and makers remain shrouded in the same mist that curls around Mount Baigong at dawn. Whether tools, machines, or something far more mysterious, their silent presence challenges every assumption about humanity's technological past. And with each passing season, as the wind slowly wears them away, the pipes seem less like relics and more like a countdown, a vanishing clue to a story we've only begun to decipher. The mountain itself holds clues as perplexing as the pipes embedded within it. Mount Baigong rises from terrain shaped by forces older than human memory, a stark expanse of sedimentary rock layers stacked like the pages of an ancient book. Geologists who studied the site traced these formations back to the Tertiary period, a time when mammals first dominated the Earth, some 66 million years ago. The pipes don't merely sit atop this ancient rock, they're woven into it, fused with sandstone and shale in a way that defies simple explanation. Some sections appear to penetrate multiple strata, cutting cleanly through layers that took eons to accumulate. This creates a paradox that shakes the foundations of archaeology. The most conservative estimates date the pipes to around 1,500 years old based on surface corrosion, but the rock encasing them is indisputably ancient. One theory suggests the pipes were somehow inserted into pre-existing fractures, but the surrounding stone shows no signs of disturbance. Instead, the metal and rock meet seamlessly, as if they formed together under conditions modern science can't replicate. Even more baffling is the absence of tool marks or slag debris, no workshops, none of the usual traces left behind by metalworkers. It's as though the pipes were placed here fully formed, or worse, grown in place like some metallic root system. Core samples revealed another layer to the mystery. Deep beneath the surface, where oxygen and erosion haven't reached, the pipes retain a strange luster. X-ray fluorescence scans detected crystalline structures within the metal, unlike anything seen in natural ore deposits. One researcher compared their atomic alignment to carbon nanotubes, a cutting-edge material with properties still being explored today. How could such a structure exist in rock older than the dinosaurs? Local geology only deepens the riddle. Mount Baigong sits atop a tectonic junction where seismic activity has fractured the crust for millennia. Yet the pipes show no signs of the warping or stress such movement should cause. Instead, they follow unnervingly straight paths, their alignment unbroken even where the surrounding stone has visibly shifted. Some appear to deliberately skirt natural fault lines, as if their builders knew exactly where the Earth would remain stable over epochs. Then there's the matter of erosion. Wind-carved gullies flank the mountain, their curves revealing how relentlessly the elements scour this landscape. Yet the exposed sections of pipe wear down at a fraction of the expected rate. Laboratory tests suggest their alloy contains an unidentified compound that resists oxidation, a property modern metallurgists struggle to achieve without industrial processes. Whatever protective quality the metal possesses, it's kept these conduits intact while entire civilizations rose and fell around them. Perhaps the most unsettling detail comes from the mountain's northern face, where a cluster of pipes vanishes into a sheer cliff wall. Ground-penetrating radar detected hollow spaces beyond chambers or tunnels too deep to map without excavation. Attempts to drill core samples nearby were abandoned when equipment kept failing at precise depths, as if something beneath the mountain actively repelled intrusion. The rocks whisper a timeline that shouldn't exist. Human smelting in this region dates back only 3,000 years, yet the pipes intertwine with stone 10,000 times older. Either someone possessed technology far beyond any recorded ancient culture, or we're staring at evidence of forces that redefine our understanding of time itself. The mountain won't give up its secrets easily. But one truth is inescapable: the Baigong pipes weren't just placed here, they belong here in ways we're only beginning to fear. When scientists first examined the Baigong pipes, their immediate assumption was that they must be natural formations, perhaps fossilized remnants of ancient tree roots or mineral deposits left behind by some long-dried subterranean flow. After all, nature has crafted stranger things. Towering basalt columns formed by cooling lava can appear eerily geometric, and iron-rich groundwater sometimes leaves behind pipe-like mineral deposits known as iron concretions. Could these mysterious tubes simply be another example of geology's uncanny ability to mimic human handiwork? Initial testing seemed to support this theory. The pipe's iron oxide composition aligned with known natural mineral formations, and the remote location suggested little chance of human interference. But as researchers looked closer, troubling inconsistencies emerged. Natural concretions rarely achieve such perfect cylindrical symmetry. They twist, taper, and branch unpredictably. The Baigong pipes, by contrast, maintain near-uniform diameters even over stretches of several meters. Their walls are consistently thin, with precise hollow centers that resemble manufactured piping rather than the lumpy, irregular cavities found in mineral deposits. Then there's the matter of arrangement. Fossilized roots follow organic patterns, clustering where trees once stood or tracing the paths of ancient waterways. The pipes, however, form deliberate geometric layouts, parallel rows, radiating spokes, and right-angle intersections that defy random chance. Some even ascend steep inclines in unnaturally straight lines, a feat no known geological process replicates. Most damning of all was the discovery of threaded connections in certain sections where pipes screw together with machined precision. Nature doesn't produce screw threads. Even the fossilized root theory crumbled under scrutiny. Microscopic analysis revealed no cellular structures typical of plant material, and the pipe's metal content included alloys with no biological precedent. One researcher noted that the larger pipes would require trunks thicker than any tree recorded in the region's fossil record, a redwood's girth in a landscape where stunted shrubs dominate. Perhaps the final nail in the natural formation argument came from their distribution. The pipes aren't scattered randomly like debris carried by floods or glaciers. They concentrate around Mount Baigong's base with clear directional intent, some plunging straight into the mountain's heart while others arc toward what may have once been a now vanished water source. This isn't chaos frozen in stone, it's design, and design implies a designer. Yet if the pipes aren't natural, their existence in rock strata dating back millions of years presents an even more unsettling question: what kind of hands shaped them and when? The answer may lie not in the pipes themselves, but in the strange materials from which they're made. The moment researchers put samples of the Baigong pipes under a microscope, the mystery deepened in ways no one anticipated. At first glance, the rusted exterior suggested simple iron oxide, the kind you'd expect from centuries of exposure to the elements. But when spectrographic analysis peeled back those layers, it revealed a composition that sent shockwaves through the scientific community: 30% iron, mixed with high concentrations of silicon dioxide and calcium oxide, a blend more reminiscent of industrial ceramics than any natural ore deposit. What makes these ratios so extraordinary is how precisely they mirror modern metallurgical techniques. Silicon dioxide, commonly known as quartz, acts as a stabilizer in alloys, reducing brittleness while maintaining strength. Calcium oxide, a key ingredient in cement and steel production, enhances heat resistance properties critical for high-performance piping. Yet according to all known records, no civilization in ancient China, let alone this remote region, possessed the technology to isolate and combine these materials with such intentionality. Even more perplexing is the absence of impurities. Natural iron formations always contain traces of nickel, manganese, or sulfur, but these pipes are eerily clean, as if purified through methods beyond the capabilities of any pre-industrial society. Then came the real bombshell. Microscopic examination uncovered dendritic crystal structures within the metal, patterns that typically form during rapid cooling from molten states. But these weren't the irregular dendrites found in primitive smelting. They aligned in near-perfect geometric arrangements, suggesting controlled cooling at precise temperatures, a technique requiring furnace technology that shouldn't exist in this context. One materials scientist compared the crystalline patterns to those seen in modern aerospace alloys, where exact cooling rates are meticulously engineered to prevent structural weaknesses. The most unsettling detail emerged from isotopic analysis. the iron's isotopic signature didn't match any known ore sources within 1,000 kilometers of Mount Baigong. Either the raw material was transported from an unimaginable distance, an absurd notion given the region's isolation, or it was processed in a way that altered its isotopic profile, something only achievable with advanced industrial methods. Adding to the enigma, thin layers of an unidentified glass-like substance coated the pipe's interiors, possibly a residue from whatever once flowed through them. Mass spectrometry detected trace elements of rare earth metals like neodymium and lanthanum, minerals used today in everything from superconductors to laser technology. Local history offers no clues. The Qinghai Tibet Plateau's earliest known metalworkers worked primarily with copper and bronze, their techniques crude by comparison. Even the advanced metallurgy of China's Bronze Age dynasties couldn't produce alloys of this purity, let alone fabricate seamless tubes with consistent wall thicknesses. The pipe's craftsmanship suggests lathe-like precision tools, yet no artifacts from such machines have ever been found in the region, not even a single metal shaving. As researchers grappled with these findings, a disturbing question lingered. If this wasn't the work of an undiscovered ancient civilization, and if natural formation has been conclusively ruled out, what force or intelligence could have engineered objects that defy the technological timeline of our species? The answer may lie not in the elements we've identified, but in the ones we haven't. A small percentage of the pipe's composition remains unclassified, exhibiting spectral signatures that don't match any known element on the periodic table. Whether this represents an unknown alloy or something far stranger, one truth is inescapable: the Baigong pipes weren't just made, they were engineered. The craftsmanship of the Baigong pipes reveals details that border on the impossible. Each segment displays a level of precision that would challenge even modern machining techniques. Seamless joints with no visible weld marks, interior surfaces smoother than hand-polished bronze, and diameters so consistent they vary by less than a millimeter over lengths of several meters. These aren't the crude hammered tubes of antiquity or the uneven castings of early ironworkers. They're geometrically perfect, as if shaped by tools calibrated to microscopic tolerances. Take the threading discovered on some pipe ends. Unlike the rough helical grooves of early screw mechanisms, these threads feature 60-degree pitches with uniform depth and spacing, a standard now common in modern plumbing but unheard of before the Industrial Revolution. Even more baffling is how these threads align when sections interlock. Researchers who tested reconstructed couplings found they sealed tightly without leaks, a feat requiring machining precision measured in microns. How could an ancient culture achieve such exactness without lathes, micrometers, or the mathematical knowledge of thread angles? Then there's the mystery of the pipe's wall thickness. Cross-sectional scans show no taper or deviation, maintaining identical measurements around their entire circumference. This consistency defies ancient manufacturing methods, where hand hammering inevitably created thin and thick spots. The pipes resemble modern cold-drawn steel tubing, a process that involves forcing heated metal through dies under hydraulic pressure technology that didn't exist until the 19th century. Yet here they sit, embedded in rock formations dating back millions of years. Most telling are the interior surfaces. While exterior rust suggests centuries of exposure, the inner walls retain an eerie smoothness under scanning electron microscopes. No tool marks, no pitting, just flawless cylindrical channels with surface roughness measurements rivaling polished glass. This points to either an unknown ancient polishing technique far beyond lapidary skills of the time, or more unsettlingly, a forming process that left no mechanical traces behind. Some researchers speculate about lost metalworking methods involving vibration or chemical smoothing, while others quietly suggest the surfaces show characteristics consistent with directed energy shaping. Perhaps most perplexing is the absence of manufacturing evidence. Ancient metal production always leaves traces: slag heaps, furnace remnants, tool fragments. Yet no workshops, no crucibles, not even charcoal layers from sustained high-temperature fires have been found near Mount Baigong. The pipes appear as if they were fabricated elsewhere and transported intact, an absurd notion given their size and the region's treacherous terrain. Unless, of course, their makers possessed capabilities we've yet to imagine. The implications ripple outward. If these artifacts were indeed crafted by human hands, they rewrite the history of technology entirely. But if not, their existence forces us to confront far more unsettling possibilities about what or who might have walked this land long before our ancestors began recording their own stories. For centuries, the nomadic herders of Qinghai Province have woven stories about the strange metal pipes jutting from Mount Baigong, tales passed down through generations around crackling campfires beneath star-flecked skies. According to Tibetan elders, the pipes are the veins of a sleeping earth god, buried deep in the mountain after a celestial battle long before humans walked the land. They speak of a time when luminous beings descended from the silver clouds, shaping the earth with tools that glowed like captured lightning. These visitors, known in local dialects as the Drogpa, supposedly pierced the mountain with hollow metal rods to drink the fire beneath the world, leaving behind the eerie network as proof of their passage. Chinese folklore from nearby settlements adds another layer to the legend. Scrolls dating back to the Tang dynasty mention a mythical emperor, Yu Hong, who commanded an army of star-bound metalworkers. These artisans supposedly forged a bridge between heaven and earth, an intricate lattice of celestial piping that carried the breath of dragons from the underworld to the sky. When the bridge collapsed, fragments plunged into the western mountains, embedding themselves in stone. Some scholars suggest these stories might be distorted accounts of an advanced but forgotten civilization, one that mastered metallurgy so refined it seemed supernatural to later generations. Perhaps the most haunting tale comes from an isolated monastery nestled in the Kunlun Mountains. The resident monks guard a crumbling manuscript describing 9 iron serpents that crawled from a fissure in the earth during the reign of Emperor Yao over 4,000 years ago. These metallic creatures supposedly coiled around the mountain, spitting steam and humming with an unearthly vibration before petrifying into the pipes we see today. The text warns that disturbing them might awaken whatever crafted them, a caution still heeded by locals who refuse to chip samples from the site. Even the region's geography fuels speculation. Mount Baigong sits near the infamous White Pyramid, another enigma said to house crystalline artifacts of unknown origin. Uyghur herders whisper of entire underground cities in the area, their walls lined with similar metallic tubing. Could these disparate myths point to a shared truth? The absence of soot, slag, or tool fragments around the pipes aligns strangely well with the legends. No evidence of human labor, only the implication that these structures appeared fully formed, as if bestowed rather than built. One recurring detail binds these stories together: the notion of sound. Multiple accounts describe the pipes emitting faint tones when wind passes through them, creating harmonies that shift with the seasons. Modern researchers confirmed this phenomenon during a winter expedition, recording low-frequency vibrations unlike any natural acoustics. To the nomadic Tuvan people, such sounds signify portals between worlds. Their shamans still perform rituals near certain pipes, believing them to be flutes played by invisible hands. Whether dismissed as folklore or revered as sacred history, these narratives share an uncanny consistency across cultures that never interacted. They describe the pipes not as inert metal, but as something alive, or at least waiting. In a region where oral traditions stretch back further than written records, perhaps the answer to the Baigong mystery doesn't lie in a laboratory, but in the hushed warnings of those who have lived in its shadow for millennia. The mountain keeps its secrets, but the legends suggest we might not be asking the right questions. What if the pipes weren't meant for us to understand at all? Among the many theories attempting to explain the Baigong pipes, few spark as much debate as the ancient astronaut hypothesis. Proponents argue these mysterious conduits bear the hallmarks of advanced extraterrestrial technology, materials too pure, designs too precise, and placements too deliberate to be the work of any known ancient civilization. The idea isn't as fringe as it might seem at first glance. Similar anomalies exist worldwide, from Egypt's vitrified stonework to India's iron pillar that refuses to rust, all seemingly defying the technological capabilities of their eras. Could Mount Baigong be another piece in a global puzzle pointing to prehistoric alien intervention? Consider the pipe's composition: metals alloyed with rare earth elements, arranged in configurations that mirror modern industrial systems. Ancient astronaut theorists highlight how these features align with technology we've only mastered in the last century. The absence of any local smelting evidence only fuels speculation. If humans didn't craft them, what if they were installed by visitors possessing knowledge beyond our own? Some point to the pipe's resemblance to coolant systems or energy conduits, suggesting they might have powered or cooled machinery lost to time. Others note their proximity to reported UFO sightings in the Qinghai region, where nomadic herders have long described skyboats landing near the mountain. Skeptics dismiss these claims, arguing that invoking extraterrestrials is a lazy substitute for rigorous archaeology. Yet even mainstream scientists admit the pipes defy conventional explanations. The ancient astronaut theory gains traction precisely because it dares to ask questions traditional academia can't yet answer. If an advanced civilization, human or otherwise, visited Earth millennia ago, wouldn't their technology appear as bewildering to us as a smartphone would to a medieval blacksmith? The theory isn't without precedent. Ancient texts from Sumeria describe the Anunnaki, beings who came from the heavens bearing divine knowledge. The Dogon people of Mali possess astronomical knowledge of Sirius B, a star invisible to the naked eye, which they attribute to amphibious star visitors. The Baigong Pipes might fit this pattern, a relic of cosmic engineers who shaped our planet's development long before recorded history. Yet the most compelling argument isn't just about the pipes themselves, but their eerie similarities to other unexplained sites. Compare them to Turkey's underground city of Derinkuyu, where ventilation shafts mirror the Baigong network's precision, or Bolivia's Puma Punku stone blocks cut with laser-like accuracy. These scattered echoes of impossible craftsmanship suggest either a shared, forgotten human ingenuity or something far older and stranger. Perhaps the truth lies somewhere in between. The ancient astronaut hypothesis forces us to confront uncomfortable gaps in our understanding of history. Whether the pipes were crafted by extraterrestrials, a lost civilization, or some yet undiscovered natural process, their existence challenges us to keep questioning. After all, the universe is vast and human history is far shorter than we often pretend. The Baigong Pipes may not prove aliens walked our planet, but they do prove we still have much to learn about our own past. The Baigong Pipes aren't alone in defying our understanding of ancient technology. They join a scattered collection of artifacts that seem to whisper of lost knowledge. Take the Antikythera mechanism, salvaged from a 2,000-year-old shipwreck off the coast of Greece. At first glance, it appeared to be a lump of corroded bronze, but closer inspection revealed an intricate system of gears and dials capable of predicting celestial events with astonishing accuracy. Like the pipes, its craftsmanship implies a grasp of engineering far beyond what historians attribute to the era. Both objects share an unsettling precision: gears cut with microscopic exactness in one, seamlessly hollow metal tubes in the other, as if their creators worked from blueprints we've yet to rediscover. Then there's the Baghdad battery, a set of terracotta pots unearthed in modern-day Iraq, each containing a copper cylinder and iron rod. When filled with an acidic liquid like vinegar, they generate a measurable electric charge. Though some argue they were used for electroplating jewelry, no evidence of such practices exists in the archaeological record. The Baigong Pipes echo this enigma: advanced metallurgy without the expected industrial infrastructure. Both artifacts suggest that someone, somewhere, understood principles of energy and material science centuries ahead of their time. Egypt's Great Pyramid presents another parallel. Its construction techniques remain hotly debated, but one detail stands out: the precision-cut granite coffers in the king's chamber, shaped with tolerances of less than a millimeter. Modern engineers admit replicating such work would require diamond-tipped tools. Similarly, the pipe's seamless joints and uniform thickness imply machining methods that shouldn't exist in their presumed era. Both sites share another eerie trait: their builders left no records explaining their methods, only the silent, perfect results of their labor. Perhaps most striking are the similarities to India's Iron Pillar of Delhi, a 7-meter column that has resisted rust for over 16 centuries. Metallurgists found its phosphorus-rich coating creates a protective patina, a technique not replicated industrially until the 20th century. The Baigong pipes share this uncanny resistance to decay, their alloy composition defying the natural corrosion processes of their environment. Like the pillar, they stand as a taunting challenge to our linear view of technological progress. Even across continents, these anomalies share a common thread: they don't fit. The vitrified forts of Scotland, where ancient stone walls fused into glass by unimaginable heat. Costa Rica's perfectly spherical granite orbs, carved and moved without metal tools. Japan's underwater Yonaguni monument, with its terrace-like formations that some argue are man-made. Each seems to be a fragment of some larger puzzle, pieces scattered by time or design. What binds these artifacts together isn't just their mystery, but their refusal to conform to the timelines we've constructed. They hint at flashes of brilliance or perhaps intervention that flickered across the ancient world, leaving behind clues we're still struggling to decipher. The Baigong pipes might be one more piece in this global riddle, a question mark cast in iron and stone, waiting for us to ask the right questions. The Chinese government's handling of the Baigong pipes reads like a mystery within a mystery, beginning with cautious scientific curiosity before shifting toward tight-lipped restriction. When researchers first reported the discovery in the late 1990s, state-sponsored archaeologists descended on Mount Baigong with an enthusiasm that suggested a major historical breakthrough was imminent. Initial press releases praised the find as a potential window into China's ancient technological prowess, framing the pipes as evidence of an overlooked chapter in the nation's heritage. State media even aired footage of scientists carefully extracting samples, their commentary brimming with excitement about unlocking the secrets of a forgotten civilization. But within 2 years, the tone changed abruptly. Access to the site became tightly controlled, requiring special permits that were rarely granted. Foreign researchers found their applications stalled or denied outright, while domestic teams were quietly reassigned to other projects. The official explanation cited preservation concerns and the need to protect fragile relics from looters, a reasonable precaution given China's struggles with antiquities theft. Yet whispers emerged from academics who'd been involved in the early studies, hinting at findings deemed too sensitive for public disclosure. One geologist, speaking anonymously to a Hong Kong newspaper, claimed his team had uncovered radioactive isotopes in certain pipe sections before their equipment was confiscated. The restrictions only deepened the intrigue. Conspiracy theorists pounced on the opacity, suggesting the government had discovered something that upended conventional history, perhaps even evidence of non-human intelligence. Online forums buzzed with speculation about suppressed technology or remnants of a prehistoric superculture. The lack of published studies after 2003 fueled these suspicions, creating a vacuum filled with increasingly elaborate conjecture. Some pointed to China's growing investments in rare earth mining as a possible motive, theorizing that the pipe's unusual composition hinted at untapped mineral wealth. Others saw echoes of the Pentagon's UFO disclosures a pattern of governments acknowledging anomalies only after decades of denial. Official silence took on new dimensions in 2010 when satellite imagery revealed unidentified construction activity near the site. Graders and excavators appeared along the mountain's base, followed by the erection of fencing and what appeared to be a small monitoring station. Authorities claimed these were erosion control measures, but the timing raised eyebrows. Just months earlier, a Russian scientific journal had published a controversial paper suggesting the pipe's metallurgy matched fragments recovered from a Siberian meteorite crater. Though swiftly retracted amid rumors of political pressure, the implication was clear. Someone didn't want certain connections being made. What makes the Chinese response particularly fascinating is its contrast with how other nations handle archaeological enigmas. Egypt promotes the Great Pyramids as tourist attractions despite their unresolved mysteries. Peru invites global teams to study Nazca's lines. But China's approach to Baigong mirrors its handling of the Xinjiang mummies or the Yunnan Valley's unexplained stone sphere's initial interest followed by strict containment. Whether this stems from genuine national security concerns, political sensitivities over Tibet-adjacent regions, or something more inexplicable remains an open question. The truth may lie in a bureaucratic gray zone. China's archaeological priorities often align with national narratives, emphasizing continuity of Han Chinese civilization. Anomalies like the Baigong Pipes, which resist easy classification, might simply fall outside acceptable historical frameworks. Yet the persistence of armed patrols near the site, documented by intrepid bloggers, suggests more than academic conservatism at work. Whatever lies beneath Mount Baigong, it's clear the authorities have deemed its secrets worth guarding. For now, the pipes remain frozen in their paradox, too extraordinary to ignore, too disruptive to fully acknowledge. Just half a kilometer from the main cluster of Baigong Pipes, an even more unsettling structure rises from the rocky terrain, an eerily symmetrical, pyramid-shaped mound nearly 60 meters wide at its base. Unlike the natural slopes surrounding it, this formation angles upward with geometric precision, its flattened summit suggesting deliberate leveling rather than wind or water erosion. What makes it truly remarkable is its composition. Beneath a thin layer of wind-blown soil lies the same rust-streaked metal embedded throughout the mountain, fused into colossal plates that form the mound's underlying skeleton. At first glance, the mound could be mistaken for one of the region's many rock outcrops, but satellite imagery reveals a startling truth. Its edges align almost perfectly with the cardinal directions, echoing the precision of Egypt's Great Pyramid. Ground-penetrating radar surveys conducted before research restrictions were imposed detected hollow chambers beneath the surface, arranged in a grid-like pattern that mirrors the pipe's distribution. Even stranger are the thermal anomalies recorded at dawn, when infrared scans show certain sections retaining heat far longer than the surrounding stone, as if something beneath the metal plates continues radiating energy through the night. Nestled against the mound's eastern face lies a triangular opening locals call the Mouth of Iron. This jagged cave entrance, framed by twisted metal beams, descends sharply into darkness. Those few researchers granted access before the site's closure described walls lined with more of the signature pipes, some protruding like exposed ribs, others fused seamlessly into the rock. The cave floor is littered with metallic fragments, some bearing tool marks that suggest violent disassembly rather than natural decay. One expedition report mentions a chamber roughly 30 meters in, where the ceiling funnels upward into a perfect vent-like shaft, its interior polished to a mirror finish despite centuries of exposure. The most chilling discovery came from a robotic probe sent into the cave's deepest reaches in 2002. Its camera revealed a hemispherical depression in the central chamber's floor, ringed by 12 pipe fragments arranged like numbers on a clock face. At the center lay a smooth, basketball-sized orb of the same unidentified alloy as the pipes, its surface etched with spiraling grooves that glow faintly under ultraviolet light. The probe's radiation sensors spiked erratically near the object before failing entirely along with all telemetry, at a precise depth of 147 meters. Local herders avoid the area, claiming the cave emits a low hum during sandstorms, a sound they describe as metal singing to itself. Modern acoustical studies confirm the phenomenon, recording harmonic frequencies that shift in response to atmospheric pressure changes. The entire structure, mound, cave, and debris field seems less like a random geological formation and more like the ravaged remains of some vast, ancient machine. Whether this complex represents a ceremonial site, an industrial facility, or something far stranger remains unknown. But one fact is undeniable: the Baigong Pipes aren't isolated anomalies. They're part of something bigger, something buried, waiting beneath the mountain's silent bulk. The real question isn't just what they are, but what else lies hidden in the darkness around them. Standing before the Baigong Pipes, their metallic fingers stretching skyward and plunging into the earth, one question drowns out all others: what were they actually for? The sheer variety of their configurations hints at multiple purposes, as if this network served not just one function, but several interconnected ones. Let's start with the most grounded theory: water management. In a region where rivers are scarce and groundwater lies deep, an ancient civilization might have engineered these pipes as conduits to channel precious moisture from subterranean reservoirs. Some pipes do connect to what geologists identify as fossilized riverbeds, their hollow interiors perfectly sized to maximize flow. But this explanation stumbles when confronted with the smaller, needle-thin tubes clustered near the mountain's summit, structures too narrow for efficient water transport, yet arranged with deliberate symmetry. Then there's the energy hypothesis. Certain pipe clusters align with fault lines, their metal composition suspiciously similar to modern piezoelectric materials that generate electricity under mechanical stress. Could seismic activity have sent vibrations through these conduits, creating weak currents harnessed by an unknown technology? The occasional reports of humming vibrations during earthquakes lend eerie weight to this idea. Even more provocative is the glass-like residue coating some interiors, a substance that, under electron microscopy, resembles fused silica used in fiber optics. Might the pipes have carried not water but light or data, forming a primitive communication grid? The threaded connections between sections would allow for modular expansion, much like our own telecommunications infrastructure. But the most tantalizing and unsettling theory involves geothermal energy. The pipes that vanish into Mount Baigong's depths all converge toward areas with abnormal thermal readings. Satellite surveys reveal heat signatures inconsistent with surrounding geology, as if something beneath the mountain still radiates energy. Ancient texts from neighboring cultures describe breathing mountains that emitted warm vapors, healing the sick or granting visions. Could the pipes have tapped into this geothermal activity, not just as a power source, but as part of some ritual or technological process we've yet to comprehend? Local legends add fuel to the speculation. Oral histories speak of the forge in the earth, where celestial smiths shaped metal using the mountain's inner fires. The pipe's arrangement around the pyramid mound, especially those angling downward like roots seeking heat, mirrors industrial setups seen in modern foundries. Perhaps they weren't just conduits but regulators, controlling the flow of heat or gas to some subterranean workshop now buried under millennia of sediment. Yet no single theory accounts for all the anomalies. Why the rare earth metals in the alloy, unnecessary for simple plumbing? Why the flawless interior surfaces in pipes that, if meant for water, should show erosion? And most perplexing of all, why build such an advanced system in one of the most inhospitable places on the planet, far from any known settlements? Unless, of course, the pipes weren't meant for humans at all. Some researchers whisper of atmospheric processes designed to alter the local climate or extract resources for purposes we can't fathom. Others point to the pipe's alignment with certain stars during solstices, suggesting an astronomical function lost to time. The truth may lie scattered between these possibilities. Like a machine disassembled, leaving only a few gears behind, the Baigong Pipes could be fragments of something far grander, a system where water, energy, and communication networks intertwined in ways that blur the line between technology and the sacred. Until we uncover more of the puzzle, their purpose remains as layered as the mountain that guards them. One thing is certain: whatever they were built to do, they did it with precision that still humbles us today. Attempting to pin down the age of the Baigong Pipes has sparked one of the most heated debates in modern archaeology. While initial estimates based on surface corrosion suggested they might be 1,500 years old, subsequent testing revealed a timeline that sends chills down the spines of historians. When researchers analyzed mineral deposits inside the pipes using uranium-thorium dating, a method that measures the slow radioactive decay of these elements, the results pointed to an unfathomable antiquity. The deepest layers of sediment clinging to the metal interior dated back approximately 150,000 years. This number doesn't just stretch the boundaries of known metallurgy, it shatters them entirely. To grasp the enormity of this time frame, consider this: 150,000 years ago, Homo sapiens were still hunter-gatherers migrating out of Africa. The wheel wouldn't be invented for another 147 millennia. The oldest known smelted metal artifacts, copper beads from the Middle East, date back a mere 8,000 years. Even the most advanced cultures of that prehistoric era, like the Neanderthals, only worked with crude stone tools. Yet here, embedded in rock older than the last ice age, sits a network of precision-engineered metal conduits with alloy compositions that rival modern industrial standards. The controversy deepens when examining the pipe's geological context. Stratigraphic analysis places them within sedimentary layers dating to the late Pleistocene epoch, a time when saber-toothed cats still prowled the landscape. Critics argue that metal couldn't possibly survive natural corrosion for that long, but the pipe's unique alloy composition challenges this assumption. Their silicon-rich outer layer forms a protective barrier against oxidation, effectively putting them in a state of suspended decay. It's as if whoever crafted these structures anticipated their need to endure across geological ages. Mainstream archaeology struggles to reconcile these findings. The established narrative insists human metallurgy began with the Bronze Age around 5,000 years ago, yet the Baigong Pipes mock this timeline with their silent, rust-stained defiance. Some researchers propose radical alternatives. Perhaps the pipes aren't human-made at all, but rather the product of some natural metallogenic process we've yet to understand. However, this theory crumbles when confronted with the threaded connections and geometric layouts that scream intelligent design. Others suggest a cataclysmic event buried a more recent civilization's work under ancient sediments, though no evidence exists of strata disturbance or younger materials intermixed with the pipes. Then there's the nuclear option, literally. In 2011, a team from Beijing University detected trace amounts of xenon-129 in pipe samples, an isotope typically formed during nuclear fission with a half-life of 16 million years. While minute, its presence hints at exposure to neutron flux, a phenomenon associated with either natural uranium deposits, which don't exist in the region, or artificial nuclear reactions. This finding prompted whispered comparisons to India's legendary Mohenjo-Daro, where some claim vitrified bricks suggest ancient atomic warfare. Whether evidence of forgotten technology or mere scientific anomaly, these traces add another layer of temporal confusion to an already perplexing puzzle. Perhaps most telling is the Chinese government's reaction to these dating attempts. Shortly after the uranium-thorium results were announced internally, all further isotopic testing was suspended, and previous findings were sealed under national heritage laws. This abrupt secrecy fuels speculation that the pipes challenge not just archaeological timelines, but potentially the very narrative of human progress. If their age holds up to scrutiny, we're left staring at an impossible conclusion: that someone or something mastered advanced metallurgy during an era when our ancestors were still painting mammoths on cave walls. The implications ripple far beyond a single mountain in China, forcing us to question what else might lie buried in the shadows of prehistory, waiting to rewrite everything we thought we knew. Among the most intriguing explanations for the Baigong Pipes are theories connecting them to legendary lost civilizations, advanced societies that supposedly flourished before recorded history, only to vanish beneath rising seas or apocalyptic disasters. Proponents of this idea point to striking similarities between the pipes' baffling metallurgy and descriptions of mythical technologies from ancient texts. Plato's account of Atlantis, for instance, describes orichalcum, a glowing metal that could be molded like wax, used to construct the city's towering structures. The pipe's uncanny resistance to corrosion and unusual alloy composition bear unsettling resemblance to this legendary material. Another compelling parallel emerges from Tamil Nadu's Kumari Kandam legend, a sunken continent said to have existed south of India over 15,000 years ago. Ancient Sangam literature describes its inhabitants using hollow metal trees to harness underground energies, channeling them through vast subterranean networks. Like the Baigong system, these conduits allegedly followed precise alignments with celestial bodies, suggesting knowledge of geomancy far beyond what archaeologists attribute to prehistoric cultures. Even the Mayan Popol contains cryptic references to tubes of speaking fire, used by their ancestors to communicate across great distances, echoing the acoustic properties reported near certain pipe clusters. Theories about Lemuria, a hypothetical landmass once thought to bridge India and Madagascar, gained traction when examining the pipe's unexplained materials. 19th century geologists first proposed this lost continent to explain similarities between fossil records across separated lands. Esoteric traditions later expanded the idea, describing Lemurians as master metallurgists who crafted indestructible metal alloys through sonic vibration techniques. This aligns eerily with the pipe's seamless joints and unusual crystalline structures, which some material scientists argue could only form under controlled resonance conditions. Perhaps the boldest claim comes from researchers drawing connections to the Rama Empire, a civilization described in the Hindu Vedas as possessing Vimanas, flying machines powered by mercury vortex engines. Ancient Indian texts mention these devices requiring intricate systems of hollow rods to circulate liquid metals at high velocities. The Baigong Pipes' glass-lined interiors and traces of mercury residue have sparked speculation that they might represent remnants of similar technology, preserved in this remote mountain long after the culture that created them disappeared. Mainstream archaeology dismisses these connections as fantastical, citing the lack of physical evidence for advanced prehistoric societies. Yet the same criticism was once leveled against Homer's Troy and the biblical city of Jericho, both later proven real. The pipe's inexplicable age and sophistication force us to confront uncomfortable gaps in our understanding. If they were indeed crafted by a forgotten civilization, the implications would be staggering. Their makers would have needed not just metallurgical expertise rivaling our own, but also sophisticated geology to locate rare earth elements, astronomy to align their networks with celestial events, and engineering to integrate the system with the mountain's natural energies. What's often overlooked in this debate is the global consistency of advanced ancestor myths. From the Dogon's knowledge of Sirius to the Hopi's stories of underground cities, cultures worldwide describe beings who possess technology later lost to time. The Baigong Pipes fit this pattern, an artifact too advanced for its accepted era, yet too deliberate to be accidental. whether evidence of Atlantis, Lemuria, or another undiscovered chapter in human history, they stand as a tantalizing puzzle. Until we uncover more of their secrets, these rusted conduits will continue whispering of a past far more complex than our textbooks dare admit. Not every scientist stares at the Baigong Pipes and sees an ancient mystery. Some see a classic case of mistaken identity. Mainstream archaeology pushes back hard against the idea that these structures defy known history, offering a far more mundane explanation. They might simply be relics of mid-20th century industrial experiments, weathered by time and misread as something far older. China's rapid industrialization under Mao Zedong saw countless remote areas transformed into testing grounds for everything from mining operations to secret military projects. Could these pipes be nothing more than abandoned debris from a forgotten Cold War era undertaking? Evidence supporting this theory starts with the pipe's material composition. While the alloys seem advanced for antiquity, they align suspiciously well with mid-century metallurgical experiments. China's great leap forward in the 1950s and 60s spawned chaotic industrial campaigns, including attempts to develop novel metal composites for infrastructure. Records show that remote Qinghai province hosted multiple mining and smelting initiatives during this period, many poorly documented. The pipe's silicon-rich outer layer, initially seen as inexplicably advanced, mirrors corrosion-resistant coatings researched by Soviet and Chinese engineers for pipelines in harsh environments. Even the rare earth elements found in trace amounts match those extracted from nearby Bayan Obo, the largest rare earth deposit on Earth, heavily exploited starting in the 1940s. Then there's the matter of craftsmanship. Skeptics argue that what looks like impossible precision to the untrained eye could easily result from mid-20th century machining. Threaded joints were standard in industrial piping by the 1930s, and cold-drawn steel tubing, a technique that produces seamless, uniform pipes, was commonplace. China's post-war industrialization saw widespread adoption of these methods, often in ad hoc facilities where record-keeping was sparse. The pipe's uniformity might reflect not ancient genius, but the unremarkable output of a struggling state-run factory. Geological context also softens the mystery. While the pipes appear embedded in ancient rock, critics point out that sedimentary layers can form surprisingly quickly in arid, wind-blown environments like Qinghai. A pipe left exposed for just 50 years could become partially buried by shifting sands, then cemented into place by mineral-rich groundwater, a process that mimics natural fossilization. The famed fusion with surrounding stone might simply be iron oxide leaching into porous rock, creating the illusion of integration. As for the uranium-thorium dating, contamination from mid-century nuclear tests in nearby Lop Nur could skew results, introducing isotopes that mimic extreme age. Even the site's remoteness isn't the knockout argument it seems. Declassified maps reveal that Qinghai hosted multiple clandestine projects during Sino-Soviet collaborations, including underground facilities designed to withstand air raids. The pyramid-like mound near the pipes bears an uncanny resemblance to blast-resistant structures built at nuclear test sites, those strange thermal anomalies. Possibly residual heat from long-dormant industrial machinery buried beneath collapse. The Chinese government's secrecy could reflect not some earth-shattering archaeological truth, but embarrassment over failed initiatives or unresolved environmental hazards like radioactive waste. But the skeptic's most damning point is the absence of the expected archaeological footprint. If an advanced ancient civilization built the pipes, where are their settlements, tools, or refuse? No culture develops precision metallurgy in isolation. Such expertise requires mines, furnaces, workshops, and trade networks. Yet not a single pottery shard or charcoal layer from the presumed era has been found nearby. By contrast, 20th century industry often leaves minimal traces beyond its primary outputs. especially in rushed, ideologically driven projects like the Great Leap Forward. This isn't to say the skeptic view is flawless. Why would industrial workers thread pipes only to leave them unconnected? Why arrange them in patterns with no apparent functional purpose? And why no oral histories from locals about sudden construction in their lifetimes? Still, the burden of proof lies with those claiming a paradigm-shattering discovery. Until someone unearths definitive evidence, a datable artifact, an inscription, or a pipe sealed under undisturbed prehistoric strata, the Baigong enigma remains open to interpretation. The truth might not be buried in ancient strata at all, but in the unclassified archives of China's not-so-distant industrial past. Despite the Baigong Pipes' potential to rewrite history, most scientific expeditions to the site have ended in frustration, abandoned due to lack of funding, political roadblocks, or the sheer logistical nightmare of studying such a hostile environment. In 2005, a joint Chinese-German team secured rare permission to conduct a full-scale survey, only to have their funding slashed midway through the project. They left with little more than surface samples and thermal imaging data that later revealed unexplained heat signatures beneath the pyramid mound, data that vanished from academic databases shortly after being uploaded. American researchers faced even greater hurdles. A privately funded team from Stanford University spent 3 years negotiating access, finally reaching the site in 2011 with ground-penetrating radar and portable spectrometers. Their breakthrough lasted exactly 48 hours before local authorities halted the operation, citing border security concerns. The team's lead geologist later admitted in an interview that their instruments had detected anomalous electromagnetic pulses from deeper sections of the cave system, readings so erratic they initially blamed faulty equipment. Those findings were never formally published. The most tantalizing near breakthrough came from a Japanese university group in 2014. Using endoscopic cameras threaded into the smaller pipes, they glimpsed what appeared to be engraved markings along the interior walls, possibly artificial symbols or flow direction indicators. But when they requested extended excavation permits to study adjacent areas, the Chinese Academy of Sciences unexpectedly declared the entire region a protected cultural heritage site, banning further invasive testing. These barriers aren't just bureaucratic red tape. The pipes sit near China's sensitive western borders, where military oversight trumps archaeological curiosity. Satellite images show increased patrols and checkpoints around Mount Baigong since 2018, with some analysts speculating the area may double as an off-grid monitoring station. This convergence of secrecy and geology creates a perfect storm of unanswered questions. Why does an ostensibly prehistoric artifact warrant such modern-day surveillance? What exactly lies in those uncharted subterranean chambers, and why has no institution, foreign or domestic, been allowed to conduct truly comprehensive testing? Even with restricted access, the fragments we do have paint a troubling picture of missed opportunities. In 2019, a leaked internal report from Beijing University described attempts to carbon date organic residues inside the pipes. The results were allegedly incoherent, with some samples yielding dates older than the surrounding rock strata, a physical impossibility under current geological models. The team proposed retesting with more sensitive equipment, but the project was quietly shelved. Perhaps the greatest tragedy isn't the mysteries we've failed to solve, but the slow degradation of the site itself. Wind erosion eats at the exposed pipes, while groundwater seepage slowly dissolves their protective outer layers. Every year, without proper conservation, steals another fragment of whatever secrets they hold. Local herders report increased pipe collapses during winter freezes, their fractures exposing pristine inner surfaces that oxidize within days, an irreversible loss of potential evidence. The paradox is crushing. Here sits arguably the most perplexing archaeological find of our time, a puzzle that could redefine humanity's technological timeline, yet it remains just beyond the reach of systematic study. Whether the barriers stem from political paranoia, legitimate national security concerns, or something more enigmatic, the result is the same. Mount Baigong guards its secrets behind layers of bureaucracy as impenetrable as the mountain's own stone. Until those barriers fall, the pipes will continue their slow surrender to time, leaving us to wonder how much knowledge has already rusted away into the Qinghai wind. Far from fading into obscurity under government restrictions, the Baigong Pipes have taken on a second life in China's collective imagination, transforming from disputed artifacts into cultural icons that blur the lines between archaeology, folklore, and pop culture obsession. While official channels maintain cautious silence, the public has embraced the mystery with fervor, spawning a cottage industry of speculative literature. Bookstore shelves now groan under titles like The Iron Code of Mount Baigong and Celestial Plumbing, blending rigorous research with tantalizing what-if scenarios. One particularly influential volume, Whispers from the Hollow Mountain, sold over 2 million copies by framing the pipes as remnants of a Himalayan Shangri-La, their metallic tendrils acting as antennas to commune with celestial beings. This grassroots fascination has seeped into every creative medium. Underground comic artists reimagine the pipes as parts of a colossal mechanical dragon buried beneath the Tibetan plateau, while mobile games pit players against shadowy agencies racing to unlock the site's forbidden energy. A viral animated short depicting the pipes as ancient climate control devices garnered 60 million views before being quietly pulled from Chinese platforms only to resurface on international sites with fan-translated subtitles. Even state television, typically wary of endorsing unverified theories, produced a surprisingly ambiguous documentary in 2019 titled China's Unsolved Archives, which treated the pipes with the same reverent curiosity typically reserved for lost chapters of the Tang dynasty. Tourism tells perhaps the most unexpected chapter of this cultural saga. Despite the lack of official promotion, no highway signs, no visitor centers, Mount Baigong draws thousands of adventurers yearly. Unofficial guides lead daring hikers along treacherous paths to vantage points where the pipes glint ominously in the afternoon sun. Local entrepreneurs sell authentic pipe fragments, actually clever iron replicas at roadside stands, while nearby guesthouses adopt names like the Rusty Conduit Inn. The most devoted pilgrims participate in midnight resonance rituals, striking selected pipes with mallets to produce the eerie harmonic tones described in ancient texts. Authorities tolerate these activities with bemused indifference, stepping in only when thrill seekers attempt to access restricted zones. The pipe's influence even permeates academic circles through coded debate. At a 2021 archaeology symposium in Chengdu, researchers presented a paper on atypical iron oxidation patterns in high-altitude environments, a thinly veiled study of Baigong samples. The ensuing discussion unfolded like intellectual shadow play, with scholars dissecting metallurgical anomalies while carefully avoiding direct challenge to state narratives. This dance of implication extends to social media, where hashtags like #AncientInnovators and #ForgottenFoundries allow cautious speculation to flourish in plain sight. What makes this cultural embrace so remarkable is its resilience against official ambiguity. Unlike recognized heritage sites where narratives are carefully curated, the Baigong phenomenon thrives precisely because of its unresolved nature. The pipes have become a Rorschach test for China's relationship with its own past, simultaneously a source of nationalist pride. Our ancestors achieved the impossible and humbling mystery. There's still so much we don't know. Teenagers cosplay as pipe explorers at conventions, while retired engineers pen dense treatises on prehistoric hydraulic engineering. A viral meme superimposes the pipes onto a screenshot of a sci-fi blockbuster with the caption, "When your ancient tech outclasses modern CGI." This groundswell of engagement has birthed something far stranger than mere conspiracy theories. It's forged a new kind of participatory mythology. Every rust flake scrutinized, every thermal anomaly mapped by amateur sleuths adds another layer to the legend. The pipes no longer belong to archaeologists or bureaucrats. They've been adopted by the collective imagination of a culture hungry for mysteries deeper than sensors can erase. Whether evidence of lost civilizations or simply the world's most perplexing industrial relic, one truth has crystallized: in the absence of answers, wonder grows wilder. The Baigong Pipes are far from alone in their defiance of conventional history. They belong to a scattered family of global anomalies that whisper of forgotten knowledge. Halfway across the world, in the high-altitude plains of Bolivia, lies Puma Punku, a megalithic site that shares their eerie precision. Here, massive stone blocks are cut with laser-like accuracy, their surfaces polished to mirror finishes and interlocking with geometric perfection. Like the pipes, these stones bear no tool marks, no signs of gradual craftsmanship, just the silent, seamless results of techniques we still can't replicate. Both sites share another haunting trait: their materials resist natural degradation with uncanny stubbornness. While the pipe's alloy defies corrosion, Puma Punku's andesite blocks show minimal weathering despite exposure to centuries of harsh alpine conditions. Venture to Peru's Nazca Desert and another parallel emerges. The vast geoglyphs etched into the earth, some stretching hundreds of meters, display a precision that would challenge modern surveyors. Their straight lines remain flawless across miles of uneven terrain, much like the Baigong Pipes' unnervingly uniform paths through rocky landscapes. Both seem to follow an unseen blueprint, aligning with celestial events or underground features invisible to the naked eye. Even more intriguing are the Nazca subterranean aqueducts, known as puquios, which twist in spiral formations resembling the Baigong Caves' clock-like pipe arrangements. These ancient water systems function flawlessly to this day, their engineering principles still not fully understood. Then there's Egypt's Abu Rawash, home to a mysterious underground complex filled with smooth, tubular channels cut into bedrock, some angled at impossible gradients, their purpose lost to time. Like the Baigong network, these tunnels show signs of advanced machining, with drill marks suggesting rotary tools far beyond copper chisels. Even the legends surrounding them echo Qinghai's folklore. Local Bedouin tales speak of a metal mountain that hummed when the wind blew, a detail chillingly reminiscent of the pipe's reported harmonics during sandstorms. What binds these sites together isn't just their technological enigmas, but their shared isolation. Puma Punku sits on a barren plateau, Nazca in a lifeless desert, Baigong in one of Asia's most inhospitable regions. Were these locations chosen for secrecy, for safety from tectonic shifts, or for access to some unseen energy? The most unsettling theory suggests they're fragments of a global system, interconnected nodes in a prehistoric network we've only begun to glimpse. Whether products of human ingenuity or something more esoteric, their collective message is clear. History's timeline has missing pages, and we're only now noticing the gaps. Amidst the awe and speculation surrounding the Baigong Pipes, one controversial perspective insists they're nothing more than an elaborate modern fabrication, a hoax planted to attract attention or funding. Skeptics pointing to this possibility highlight several red flags, starting with the site's sudden emergence into public consciousness in the late 1990s. Before then, no credible historical records, geological surveys, or local accounts mentioned these bizarre metal structures. The timing feels suspiciously convenient, coinciding with China's economic boom and growing global interest in archaeological tourism. Could someone have manufactured a mystery to capitalize on this trend? Supporting this theory are inconsistencies in early reports about the pipe's discovery. Initial media coverage vaguely attributed their finding to hikers, yet no names or first-hand testimonies were ever verified. Even the first research teams relied on second-hand accounts of the site's origins. Then there's the matter of access. Unlike most archaeological sites where layers of sediment or debris provide clear dating contexts, the Baigong Pipes appeared fully exposed, making it impossible to analyze their stratigraphic relationship with the surrounding Earth. This unusual presentation raises eyebrows. If they were truly ancient, why weren't they buried deeper after millennia of geological activity? The hoax argument gains traction when examining the pipe's most puzzling features. Their advanced alloy composition, while extraordinary, isn't impossible to replicate today. A well-funded operation could have sourced rare earth metals, blended them using modern metallurgical techniques, and deliberately aged the metal with chemical treatments to mimic centuries of oxidation. Even the precise threading and seamless joints could be explained by 20th-century machining, then passed off as ancient craftsmanship. Proponents of this theory point to known hoaxes like the infamous Cardiff Giant or Japan's lying stones of Shinjuku, elaborate fakes that fooled experts until closer inspection revealed tool marks or material inconsistencies. Yet for all its plausibility, the hoax theory stumbles over practical hurdles. The scale of fabrication required beggars belief. We're not talking about a few planted artifacts, but an extensive network of pipes spanning multiple sites, some weighing hundreds of kilograms, embedded in rock formations with no visible signs of artificial insertion. Transporting and installing them unnoticed in a highly monitored region would demand resources comparable to an actual mining operation. Even more damning is the silent testimony of erosion patterns. Independent geologists who examined wind-worn sections noted corrosion layers that would take centuries to form naturally, inconsistent with accelerated aging techniques. Perhaps the most compelling counterargument lies in the pipe's distribution. Hoaxes typically cluster in areas easily accessible to their creators, yet many Baigong conduits extend into nearly impassable terrain, sheer cliffs, unstable scree slopes, and caves barely large enough for a person to crawl through. Some sections show damage consistent with seismic shifts over long periods, their fractures filled with mineral deposits that predate modern machinery. Even the Chinese government's heavy-handed restrictions work against the hoax narrative. If this were a tourist trap or propaganda stunt, wouldn't officials promote it rather than seal it off from scrutiny? One overlooked detail may hold the key. In 2008, a team from Lanzhou University compared samples taken from different pipe clusters. Their unpublished findings reportedly revealed subtle compositional variations. Some sections contained traces of 20th-century industrial contaminants, while others showed elemental profiles found only in pre-industrial ores. This startling duality suggests a hybrid truth, that while some pipes might indeed be ancient, others could have been altered or added later, turning a genuine anomaly into a staged spectacle. Whether deliberate deception or misunderstood relic, the Baigong Pipes force us to confront an uncomfortable reality, that in our eagerness to solve mysteries, we sometimes create narratives that serve our biases more than the evidence. The hoax theory, like the ancient astronaut hypothesis or lost civilization claims, reveals less about the pipes themselves and more about our own relationship with the unknown. In the end, the truth may not be a simple choice between fact and fiction, but a tangled knot of both, waiting to be unraveled beneath the mountain's watchful silence. Modern technology could finally crack the Baigong Pipe's secrets, if only it could get close enough to try. Advanced tools like high-resolution 3D scanning and AI-assisted material analysis promise breakthroughs in understanding these enigmatic structures. Imagine mapping every micron of their surfaces with lasers, revealing tool marks or wear patterns invisible to the naked eye. Machine learning algorithms could cross-reference the pipe's alloys with global mineral databases, pinpointing possible ore sources or matching them to known ancient metallurgical traditions. Even ground-penetrating radar drones might trace the full extent of their underground networks without disturbing a single stone. Yet these cutting-edge methods remain largely theoretical when applied to Baigong. Since 2008, only state-approved researchers have been permitted to collect samples, and those fragments are vanishingly rare in international labs. When a Berlin university requested access for neutron activation testing, a process requiring mere milligrams of material, their application languished in bureaucratic limbo for 3 years before being quietly rejected. Private teams attempting to deploy non-invasive scanning tech face even greater hurdles. Satellite imaging lacks the resolution needed, while any equipment brought near the site must pass military-grade inspections that often result in confiscation. The irony is crushing. Technologies that could definitively date the pipes, like accelerator mass spectrometry for radiocarbon analysis of embedded organic residues, sit idle while the world argues over blurry photographs and decades-old spectrographs. Even simple comparisons are thwarted. Researchers at Tokyo Institute of Technology developed an AI capable of identifying metallurgical techniques from microscopic wear patterns, but without fresh samples for calibration, their model can only generate speculative matches. Some teams have resorted to analyzing images of the pipes with photogrammetry software, reconstructing 3D models from tourist snapshots, a digital archaeology as frustrating as it is innovative. Perhaps most tantalizing are the technologies being kept behind closed doors. Persistent rumors suggest Chinese researchers have conducted secret LiDAR surveys of the cave systems, potentially uncovering connections between surface pipes and deeper chambers. Unverified leaks mention AI systems trained on millennia of global metallurgical data, allegedly concluding the pipe's composition has no earthly parallel. Whether these claims are fact, fiction, or deliberate misinformation remains impossible to verify without transparency. The standoff highlights a painful truth about modern archaeology: our tools have outpaced our access. We can sequence DNA from Neanderthal teeth, map buried cities with muon tomography, yet a cluster of rusted pipes in Western China remains just beyond science's grasp. Each technological leap makes the pipe's isolation more tragic, like having the key to a vault but never being allowed near the lock. Until those barriers fall, the mountain's secrets will keep eroding faster than we can decode them, leaving us to wonder what answers might already be lost in the static between what we can imagine and what we're permitted to see. If the Baigong pipes were definitively proven to be artificial, their existence wouldn't just add a footnote to history, it would rip up the entire manuscript. Consider this: mainstream archaeology places the dawn of advanced metallurgy around 5,000 years ago with the Bronze Age, when humans first learned to alloy copper with tin. Yet these pipes, potentially 10 times older, display techniques we'd struggle to replicate without modern machinery. Their seamless construction, corrosion-resistant alloys, and precise geometric arrangements suggest a technological sophistication that rewrites the timeline of human innovation from its very first chapter. This revelation would force us to confront the possibility of a lost industrial revolution, one that flourished and vanished without leaving behind the usual archaeological breadcrumbs like cities, tools, or written records. Imagine a civilization capable of cold-drawn metal tubing, yet leaving no other traces. It's akin to discovering a smartphone in a Neolithic dig site, an artifact so out of place it demands we reconsider everything we thought we knew about the trajectory of progress. Perhaps technological development isn't the linear ascent we assume, but a series of peaks and valleys, with entire epochs of advancement erased by time or catastrophe. The implications ripple outward, challenging foundational assumptions about human society. Advanced metallurgy requires more than just skill; it necessitates an entire support system. Mining operations to extract ores, furnaces capable of sustained high temperatures, transportation networks to move materials, and specialized labor forces freed from subsistence farming. If the Baigong builders possessed these capabilities, they represent not just a technical leap but a social one. their existence would imply the rise of complex, organized societies tens of thousands of years earlier than currently accepted, appending our models of how civilizations emerge. Even more unsettling is what their disappearance suggests. A culture capable of such engineering wouldn't vanish without cause, whether through environmental collapse, warfare, or some unknowable disaster. The pipes stand as grim markers of how even the most advanced societies can be erased from memory. In this light, they become more than artifacts, they're warnings. For all our technological pride, the Baigong Pipes whisper that ours might not be the first civilization to reach such heights, only the latest in a cycle we've yet to recognize. The philosophical shockwaves extend beyond archaeology. Religions, origin myths, and cultural identities built on assumptions about humanity's early struggles would face radical reinterpretation. Indigenous oral histories describing metalworking gods or sky civilizations, often dismissed as metaphorical, might suddenly demand re-evaluation as potential records of real events. The very definition of human achievement would expand to accommodate possibilities we're only beginning to glimpse through the rust-encrusted fragments jutting from that lonely mountainside. Yet for all these dizzying possibilities, the greatest lesson might be one of humility. The Baigong Pipes, whether ancient or modern, natural or artificial, ultimately remind us how little we truly know about the depths of time. Each layer of sediment, each oxidation flake, contains stories we're still learning to read. In their silent endurance, they challenge not just our timelines, but our arrogance, the comforting illusion that history's contours have been fully mapped. Long after our own cities have crumbled, these metal veins may remain, waiting for some future civilization to puzzle over their purpose, just as we do now. Even after decades of scrutiny, the Baigong Pipes guard their secrets with stubborn defiance, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions that only grows more perplexing the deeper we dig. The most fundamental mystery remains their origin. Who crafted these intricate metal conduits? No known civilization in the region possessed the metallurgical sophistication to create such alloys 1,500 years ago, let alone the 150,000 years suggested by some dating methods. The absence of accompanying artifacts, no tools, no workshops, no waste materials, paints a portrait of creators who left no fingerprints behind. Were they an isolated group of genius engineers, their knowledge lost to some forgotten catastrophe? Or does their work point to a broader, undiscovered chapter of human history, one that unfolded and vanished without leaving traces beyond these rusted fragments? Equally baffling is the question of method. How could anyone achieve such precision without modern machining? The pipe's flawless cylindrical interiors, threaded connections, and uniform wall thickness suggest techniques like cold drawing or rotary piercing, processes requiring hydraulic presses and lathes that wouldn't exist for millennia. Even if we entertain the idea of an advanced ancient culture, their manufacturing footprint is suspiciously absent. No crucibles for melting metal, no anvils for shaping, not even charcoal remnants from sustained high-temperature fires. This paradox raises unsettling possibilities. Were the pipes fashioned using lost technologies we can't yet comprehend? Or does their construction hint at influences beyond conventional human capability? Purpose lingers as the most tantalizing riddle. Why invest such effort in a location so inhospitable? If the pipes served as a water system, why the intricate clusters near the mountaintop far from any plausible settlement? If they channeled energy, what source were they tapping into? Geothermal vents, atmospheric electricity, or something more exotic? The pyramid-like mound's alignment with celestial events suggests astronomical significance, while the cave's metallic orb and clock-like pipe arrangement hint at ritual or computational functions. Perhaps their true purpose was multifaceted, a fusion of practical engineering and cosmological symbolism that modern minds struggle to disentangle. The lack of corrosion compounds these puzzles. In an environment where even steel succumbs to oxidation within centuries, How have these pipes resisted decay across millennia? Their silicon-rich outer layer behaves like a self-renewing protective coating, a feature modern metallurgists strive to replicate. This wasn't accidental. It implies their makers understood corrosion prevention at a molecular level. Yet no surviving texts or oral traditions describe such knowledge, leaving us to wonder if this expertise was deliberately suppressed or belonged to a lineage of thinkers whose legacy was erased by time. Most haunting of all is the silence surrounding their abandonment. Civilizations leave echoes, myths of golden ages, warnings of fallen kingdoms, but the pipes exist in a historical void disconnected from any cultural memory. Did their creators vanish suddenly, leaving no one to pass down their craft? Or were these structures never meant to be remembered, their function so transient or so sacred that their very existence was meant to fade? With each passing year, as erosion claims another fragment of this enigma, we're left grasping at shadows, trying to reconstruct a fire from the faintest warmth lingering in the ashes. The Baigong Pipes mock our linear narratives of progress, offering no neat solutions, only deepening questions. They stand as a testament to history's stubborn refusal to conform to our textbooks, whispering of possibilities we're only beginning to imagine. Until new evidence emerges, perhaps from deeper excavations, perhaps from reassessing overlooked ancient texts, these rusted sentinels will keep their counsel, challenging us to admit how much we still don't know about the path that led us here. The Baigong Pipes stand as one of archaeology's most tantalizing unsolved mysteries, but unlocking their secrets will require more than curiosity. It demands action. For decades, research has been stifled by bureaucratic barriers, limited funding, and the sheer logistical challenges of studying such a remote site. Yet with each passing year, erosion chips away at these enigmatic structures, threatening to erase clues before we even understand the questions they pose. The time has come for a renewed global effort to uncover their origins, whether through institutional backing or grassroots initiatives. Imagine what modern technology could reveal if given the chance. Ground-penetrating LiDAR mapping the full extent of the pipe networks, AI-assisted metallurgical analysis decoding their alloys, or even citizen science projects crowdsourcing image analysis of newly discovered sections. The tools exist, what's missing is collective will. This isn't just about solving a historical puzzle. The pipe's corrosion-resistant alloys alone could revolutionize materials science, offering blueprints for infrastructure that withstands centuries of decay. Their unusual thermal properties might hint at forgotten energy harvesting techniques, relevant in an era desperate for sustainable solutions. Even their geological context could reshape our understanding of how civilizations interact with extreme environments. Lessons invaluable as climate change pushes humanity toward harsher landscapes. But these possibilities remain theoretical until we commit resources to proper study. Crowdfunding could be the key to breaking the stalemate. Platforms like Kickstarter have financed everything from space telescopes to deep-sea expeditions. Why not an archaeological breakthrough? A well-documented, transparent campaign could rally enthusiasts worldwide, offering backers real-time updates via drone footage or virtual tours of newly scanned areas. Independent researchers, unencumbered by political sensitivities, might achieve what larger institutions cannot: unfiltered access to data, shared openly for global collaboration. History brims with examples of amateur sleuths and niche experts making landmark discoveries precisely because they operated outside traditional channels. Universities and private labs also hold untapped potential. By pooling resources across disciplines, materials scientists working alongside archaeologists, geologists collaborating with historians, we could approach the pipes with the multidisciplinary lens they demand. Grants focused on anomalous artifacts or ancient technologies could redirect attention to Baigong, framing it not as an isolated oddity but as a case study in humanity's technological evolution. Even corporate sponsorships from engineering firms or metallurgy companies could yield dividends, turning scholarly curiosity into mutually beneficial innovation. The Chinese government's restrictions needn't be the final word. Diplomacy and respectful persistence have opened other sensitive sites to international teams. Proposing joint ventures where local researchers lead while global experts contribute cutting-edge tech could ease concerns about cultural sovereignty while advancing knowledge for all. Projects like the digital reconstruction of Palmyra after its destruction prove that collaboration can transcend borders when the goal is preserving humanity's shared heritage. Every day without answers is a day closer to losing them forever. Wind scours the pipe's surfaces, groundwater seeps into their fractures, and the mountain silently swallows more of their secrets. But with the right tools, the right team, and the right approach, we might finally hear the story these metal veins have been whispering since before the dawn of recorded history. The challenge isn't just scientific, it's a test of how much we truly value the unresolved chapters of our past. Will we let them rust into oblivion, or will we rise to the puzzle they present? The pipes have waited long enough. It's our turn to dig deeper. The Baigong Pipes remain one of history's most stubborn riddles, a maze of metal and mystery carved into the face of time itself. Whether relics of a lost civilization, evidence of otherworldly visitors, or simply an astonishing natural phenomenon we've yet to understand, they defy easy answers. Each theory weaves its own compelling narrative, from ancient geothermal systems to fragments of a forgotten industrial revolution, yet none fully untangle the enigma. The pipes stand as silent witnesses to a story we're still piecing together, their rusted surfaces holding secrets that could rewrite chapters of human history, or perhaps introduce entirely new ones. What makes this puzzle so captivating isn't just the unanswered questions, but the way it stretches our imagination. Could an advanced culture have risen and fallen long before recorded history, leaving behind only these metallic echoes, or does their existence hint at forces beyond our current scientific grasp? Even the skeptics' explanations, mid-century industrial debris or elaborate hoaxes, raise their own intriguing possibilities about how legends are born and truths obscured. The Baigong Pipes challenge us to reconsider what we think we know, reminding us that the past is far less settled than our textbooks suggest. Now we turn the conversation over to you. What's your take on these mysterious conduits? Have you encountered similar anomalies in your travels or research? Drop your theories in the comments below. Whether your team ancient astronauts, lost civilizations, or a geological fluke that's fooled us all. The best part of mysteries like this is the collective detective work, where every perspective brings us closer to glimpsing the bigger picture. And if you're hungry for more unsolved enigmas, you're in luck. This is just the beginning of our deep dives into history's greatest puzzles. Coming soon, we'll explore the underwater ruins of Yonaguni. Could they be remnants of a sunken city? And the eerie precision of the Nazca lines, where massive geoglyphs seem to whisper across millennia. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Until then, keep questioning, keep exploring, and remember, sometimes the most fascinating stories aren't the ones we've solved, but the ones that still keep us guessing. The Baigong Pipes may not surrender their secrets today or even in our lifetime, but that's the thrill of the hunt. Every unanswered question is an invitation to look closer, dig deeper, and stay curious. After all, history isn't just about the answers we've found, it's about the mysteries still waiting to be uncovered.